Top of the morning, guys. It is a lovely rainy day here in Brisbane, and that means it's a good time for coding. Oh yeah. Yesterday I think we worked on creating a puzzle, and that all worked well. Um, I think our upload images is working, our puzzle creation, our solution creation. We could actually go and, you know, use the puzzle in our app, and everything worked. I think just towards the end of the video there was an issue where after the after I saw the success dialog, I went back home and it kind of just cleared all my letters. Turns out that it had created a new user for me during the hot reloading. I don't know if it was, I don't know why, but I don't think we would expect that in the wild. But I have made a note of it to look out for it, and while we're doing user testing, so I don't think we need to worry about that too much. What we do need to do though is commit our changes, because up next we're going to work on the edit portion, editing a puzzle. So what did we do? We added the ability to create a puzzle piece. Okay, so that's cool. You can send that off, and I think I'll just push that at the same time. And then we can work on what did it not commit? Okay, just gonna pull that last one. Only committed some of it. Weird. Huh. Okay, let's push that again. And I'm just gonna force push. I mean, typically I wouldn't do that on a team, but it's just me. So awesome. Okay. So what do we need to do next? We need to allow users, me, the admin, in the future to open one of these puzzles and edit it. So how are we going to do that? Let's go to our admin app and the puzzles page. So we want all of these rows to be clickable. Not the loading rows, the puzzle rows. So we need to add a on click, and we need to go and also pass the puzzle ID, I think. So we'll go on open puzzle, pass the puzzle ID, and let's just create a callback for that on open puzzle. Use callback puzzle ID string, navigate to root start puzzle edit dot replace puzzle ID param with puzzle ID. Okay, so that should technically open our, and now our hover state's working already. I would like to put a cursor pointer on that. I recently changed it to Daisy UI, and our components still need a few little tweaks as we go. I'm gonna go cursor pointer. There we go. Now it looks like a real clickable row. And let's click on that. Oh, we don't have this root added yet. So let's go add that quickly. We have it defined. We haven't added it though. So let's go puzzle edit, puzzle edit, and yay, now we can go to the puzzle page. So that's great. We can, navigate here, but now I actually want to load the data in. And from one of the, I think the second or third video back, I was umming and ahhing about actually supplying the puzzle ID and the data to this form, because we're using it in the puzzle edit and puzzle create. And I thought, no, I want this puzzle form to be independent, shouldn't care, but I actually don't think it makes sense for puzzle form to know about puzzle ID, from the params context, because it doesn't need to know if it's a page or not. The page should know, I'm a page, get the param, pass it through. So I'm going to refactor this a little bit, and I'm going to go type props And instead of passing the puzzle ID, I'm just going to pass the puzzle data. So we'll remove that. We will grab it here. So now we are only grabbing it on the puzzle edit page where it's relevant. At the same time, we're going to go and fetch a puzzle for this puzzle ID. So do we have a hook for that? Let's see. Puzzles, hooks. Do I have use puzzle? No, I don't. Okay, so I want to get a use puzzle, and I believe I've got, let's just reuse one of our hooks over here. So we just want to fetch one puzzle. So let's go create a get puzzle first. We don't need all this stuff. Literally, it's just going to be one document. Get puzzle bar ID. Let's call it that. Make it explicit. Get puzzle bar ID. And I'm just going to pass in puzzle ID. And you don't really need to use an object here. You could pass the puzzle ID directly, but when I create the hooks, objects just work better with inferring the arguments. So I'll show you what that means just now. So what do we need to do? We can do this get auth user stuff. In fact, we could even create a reusable util that does this every time, does this check, it's just an additional block on the front end. Not that we really need it because our routing handles that. But let's just do that. Cool. The ref is going to be a document. Doc. We need the DB. We need the collection. And we need the puzzle ID. Okay. So we've got the ref, and then we're going to go and get the snapshots, which is just very similar to this, except we're going to get doc. Ref, snapshot, and I want to return if the snapshot doesn't exist, return null. The snapshot doesn't exist, return null. That just helps our queries as well. It doesn't like undefined data, and it will throw an error, so it will tell you to go and do that. Excuse me, my wife is phoning. Okay, that was my wife calling it's Isla's birthday this weekend, and she was getting my opinion on some decor. Naturally, the important stuff. She's having a mermaid theme, but she wants a pinata as well, so she's gonna have to settle for a unicorn pinata. Cool, where were we? So now we need to actually grab the data. So we know the data exists, so we can just go ahead and we can return ID and the data as puzzle. Boom. That should work. Awesome. Now we can go data puzzle is loading. Is puzzle, my hands are still warming up here, is puzzle loading equals use puzzle. Oh, we didn't actually add a hook for it, so let's go use puzzle bar ID, get puzzle bar ID, and now we can, because we have an object, our arguments just work nicely, and this is now going to be puzzle. We're going to create a new query key for the puzzle itself. And you may be wondering, we're already fetching all the puzzles. Why can't we just return one of those? And we can, but the filters may be different. So we're only returning like the first 10 results sorted by the latest date. And if we are wanting to edit, actually it's probably possible, because to click on it, you've already returned the list, you're clicking on one of the items. We could probably optimize this query just to use the, what does that sound? Oh, that's my robot. It sounds like a truck driving down the hall. Okay, so we could just kind of grab the query data and return that. But I'm not too phased about optimizing things too much here, because I'm the only one going to be using this. I don't expect our Firestore data usage to be heavy here. So I can spare a read when editing a puzzle if I ever need to. Cool, so let's keep that, and then we'll just go use puzzle by ID. And that'll of course need puzzle ID. And keep our arguments consistent with the API call. And we must remember we're only enabling this if we have args.puzzleid. So, because we're doing this enabled magic again, I feel like we need to... No, we don't need to do anything really. Okay, let's see. I thought we'd have to do something else with the query, but we don't. So, never mind that. Carrying on. So now all we need to do is just pass in the puzzle, and we can even say, so is puzzle loading? We can even pass in some loading state. And then this form could, we could. Are we doing any loading here? We're not. So we could pass in some loading state and maybe show some skeletons. Or we could just... Where's my page again? Okay, there we go. Let's go. Thank you. Let's just get rid of all this stuff. We're done with you guys. We need you to. Or we could do something like... Just to simplify things, if puzzles is loading, let's just show some loading state over here. And we'll just do one skeleton, Skeleton, width full, height 20. Height 8, whatever. If this is user facing, I might then rather pass the is loading to the puzzle form and then have like nice pretty skeletons for each field. But it's just me, so we can keep it rough and ready. Cool, so now we just, in puzzle form, we can go puzzle, puzzle. And this is optional because it's only applicable when we are editing. So we might need to change this editing field. And the ID we're going to get from the puzzle itself. Boom. So that should all work. And then we need to actually load the data into our form. So we need to do two things here. To do SS load the puzzle data in, if any, into the form data. We also need to handle the submit differently. So to do SS handle submit when editing a puzzle. Because at the moment our onSubmit is geared purely towards creating a puzzle. You can see, yeah, we create a puzzle. But we actually need to, in this onSubmit, determine if we're editing. If we're editing, we'll call a function specifically geared towards editing, just to separate the two. And then this, we can also move to another function that is just for creating a puzzle. Some of the stuff we may leave, like navigating back. Maybe not. I think at this stage it makes sense. Let's just make two completely separate functions. We may have some code duplication, but it'll help us just design things. And because yeah, in the editing one, we're going to be like checking for diffs. Are there any new images added? If so, upload those. Were any removed? If so, delete them. So it's going to get a bit more complex. I don't want to combine it in here. Okay, so we have our to-dos. Let's focus on loading the puzzle data. Because this should work at the... Should work. Yes. Cool. So now we can even reload this page. And we'll see our little skeleton there. So it's working both ways. That's great. Let's load the data. And how we do that is just... We're going to say... If puzzle data changed... Let's just move this here. If puzzle data changed... Load the puzzle data... into the form data. I'm pretty sure Copilot's going to be able to help me here. Yes. If puzzle set the date. We need it's stored as that. Yep, well done. Oh, it's so good, eh? The word, okay. Ooh, interesting. The word, this will come from the solution. So we also need the solution document if we're editing. File, no, to do SS, we'll need to get the download URL from storage. The ID, that's fine, the URL. We'll need that. Why do we have URL and file? Can't remember. Okay, the file is when we actually added an image. The URL was, I think we created object URL. Okay, so this is going to be a bit different now, because this is only applicable to when creating. When we are editing, we already have a download URL, so we don't need to do this. The URL will just be set to the download URL. The file, do we need the file? Let's see. Change images, yes. The file only applies to new files. So we only need it when uploading new. And the file name, really? Can't I use image.id? Okay, so we only need the file portion of our form state only when uploading, adding new images. So we just need to bear that in mind. So we could either make it optional, or we could just create a new file using the download URL. Let's make a note. Do we need the file? Okay. Awesome. So our next step is going to be actually fetching the solution as well for the puzzle ID. Puzzle null undefined. Puzzle or undefined. Why would it? It's undefined initially. Yes, that's correct. Never mind. Just fix the types there. Okay, so in the next step, we're going to actually go and fetch the solution for the puzzle and pass that through as well, but only when editing, obviously. And then we can address, we can remove that. We can address the rest of our to-dos. And this will almost become a async sort of action, because we'll do some fetching download URLs for each image. And yeah, I'll tackle that in the next video. Cool, cheers.